minute of your time to just basically announce my candidacy for District 1 race against Jim Chapman. And you know that I didn't mention the other Republican candidates because I don't believe that's the goal of our nomination or our candidacy for this race. We have an opportunity in this election that hasn't been given to Republicans for quite a long time. The Democrats have wholly solely held up Texas specifically, East Texas, for a long time. And the Republican ideals and ideology is finally getting out, despite some of the liberals' views. And I think this is a great time and a great opportunity for Republican candidates to see men like Ed Merritt, Dennis Berner, and I guess Camp Hodges and the others run. Just shows good, solid Republican involvement. The ultimate thing to do for serving your country, besides serving in the military, is running for office and trying to make a true change when something you see is wrong. What I plan to do with the campaign is keep it to my principles. That is, as opposed to trying to find out what would necessarily win votes, is just go basically on the principles I believe, the principles I've been raised up in, and the principles I want to see emphasized in America that have been ignored and even run over in some cases. I was going to take a few minutes over some of the latest, historically speaking, actions of the Republican Party. Of course, I support fully the contract with America. I think it's one of the best pieces of legislation any Congress has ever passed to put the power of Congress back into subjection to the people, putting themselves under their same laws. We also have some issues such as affirmative action. I'm just going to touch briefly on these to make specific stands on these. I don't want to let anyone think I'm trying to hide under any campaign or hide on any issue, because I don't think any candidate, if they're really wanting to serve the people, they should hide. Second off, if they hide, then they must not believe in it strong enough for themselves. I do not support affirmative action. Racism is wrong no matter which direction it is aimed. If we are going to get a handle on racism in America, affirmative action in all areas, including congressional districting, should be abolished. Because if you set quotas, and that's what affirmative action ends up being, is quotas. They may not have specific numbers, but they're going to have to deal with percentages or what good is affirmative action. So that means someone, due to their skin color, is going to be discriminated against, and that is wrong. The NEA. I do not believe that right now simply we have the money to support the NEA, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, or any of these type of the NEH. Because right now we're borrowing money to fund this. And I'm sure if this had a solely conservative point of view, or more of a conservative lane, that the liberals would have done away with it a long time ago. I mean, if we're going to be realistic about it. A balanced budget amendment, I fully support a balanced budget. I do not believe, I'm a business owner, I'm a small business owner, but if I don't pay my bills by the end of the year, someone comes and grabs my equipment and takes it away. I don't believe the United States government should show that example to their people by exempting themselves from being able to borrow from children and grandchildren. Crime. I worked at a sheriff's department in Shelby County for about 8 or 9 months until the sheriff was elected out of office, and then the new man brought in some new people. But I saw a side of our justice system that was kind of scary. While jails are not prima donna places that we would want to go, they're still very nice places. And I can't remember who said this, so I'd give attribution to it, but they said, let's first recognize that inmates are not drafted. They're there on a volunteer basis. They have chosen to be there. So therefore, if we're going to equate their living conditions, I'm sure everyone heard of the sheriff in Arizona, and he's getting some flack for it too. And I don't believe we should beat prisoners or anything like that. But I do believe that prisoners' standard of living is higher in some cases than the people who live around them. Why should the inmates have a higher standard of living in some cases than military people? Why should they have a higher standard of living than the elderly in our areas? I think we're spending money in the wrong areas. Flat tax. I'm studying a flat tax. Something needs to be done about the IRS. And either if it's a flat tax or a consumer-based spending tax, something needs to be changed about our current government. Gun control. I am firmly against gun control. The Second Amendment is very clear that the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be prohibited. I don't know how you can stretch it. I don't know how you can turn it or twist it in any way. I took English in high school. I'm assuming everyone in here did, and I don't know anyone who would see it any other way. I guess there's some people with an agenda other than literally gun control, which makes you wonder, since automobiles kill 20 or 30 times the amount of people. I mean, we're talking about accidents each year, and yet they're not out for banning automobiles. And while we have a constitutional guarantee of right to keep and bear arms, we do not have a constitutional guarantee to have an automobile. But it's a matter of convenience and safety. They know they won't win on that issue. There's lots of things that, if they're wanting to go, then they should maybe attack cigarettes. They should attack things that actually kill lots of people. If that's their real goal, is to keep people from being killed accidentally. And also I'm noticing they're putting something in now, hunting. They're saying, well, this gun can't be used for hunting. So the United States, or the Constitution doesn't say that we can only keep and bear arms if they are good for hunting. That's just a red herring just to try and scare off the issue. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but I just want to be firm and stand on this, that I do not believe there should be gun control. If you could, any gun control just controls it to the point where law-abiding citizens cannot have them. And why should law-abiding citizens be punished for something that criminals have done? This is something Phil Graham has said, and he was talking to the NRA, which is not a dirty word or 4 letters, so I'll go ahead and say it. He was saying to them, why not punish the guilty? Say, for instance, and I'm not just trying to take from his platform, this is some common sense stuff. Say, for instance, you take a gun into a convenience store. You commit a crime. Okay, if you carry a gun, 10 years, mandatory. There shouldn't be a problem with that. That way, the emphasis is right. You're punishing people who have abused the law, not the law-abiding people. If you use that weapon while committing a felony, robbery, or violent crime, 20 years mandatory. And if you kill one of our citizens, it should be the death penalty. I know we've got the death penalty back, but there are so many arguments against it. I post on a lot of local bulletin board systems, if anyone knows what those are. We have a lot of college students, and we really get on the liberal side. Well, there's probably one person in there that's innocent that's going to be executed, but by that same argument, there's going to be one person innocent in any conviction in a trial somewhere, somehow. Should that throw out the entire system? I don't think that's right, no. I mean, we're trying to make the system as fair, equitable, and to serve justice as we can. Illegal immigration. This is a problem specifically in Texas. When we helped Mexico with a $40 billion loan guarantee and don't send strings attached, that's sending a message to Mexico. We shouldn't really be dismayed. Our president said foreign policy didn't matter when he was campaigning. We need to worry about stuff at home, is what he was saying. So we shouldn't really be flabbergasted or let our jaws drop when we find out he's letting things go wrong overseas. If we're the world power, then we better act like it. If not, somebody else is going to step in our shoes and act like it. What we should do, if we have to loan money, give money to somebody, let's get some goods back for that. If we give the Soviet Union or the ex-Soviet Union $2 billion, then let's ask them for something. I don't see anything wrong with saying, hey, if we're giving you $2 billion in aid, show us some good faith on your side. And if they want to talk about arms reduction, we'll talk about that after the $2 billion. Prayer in school. I believe in a voluntary school prayer constitutional amendment. The only reason I'm saying this is not because the Constitution does not already support it. It says Congress shall not prohibit the free exercise of religion, but for some reason they seem to think that if you're on public grounds that you have no religious rights. I would assume that the Constitution means specifically that you have religious rights if you're on public ground. Here's the big one, abortion. Okay, I know that Republicans are pretty evenly split sometimes on abortion. I'm a pro-life candidate. I make no qualms about that. I know there's arguments for and against it. That's just where I stand. And I also believe in a strong military, and I do support term limits at any level. I thank you for your time. Afterwards, after the meeting, to me and Mike Bishop, my campaign manager, would like to ask everyone, I'm not only going to use money, I'm not really rich or anything, but I'm going to go for signing people on a petition to get about. So this would mean you're voting for me, but it would sign to say that you would allow me on the petition, that you would let me on the petition, but you would not be able to vote in the Democratic primary. Also, if you have any questions or anything afterwards, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you.